Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be ranking the Genshin characters as your friendly neighborhood Naku weed dealers. So real quick, this tier list is going to be a lot different than the traditional ones we do. So it's going to have 4 parts, 1 part designated to each nation's cartel. Because I want to get in depth with this stuff. Get down to the nitty gritty. Who's the kingpin of Mondstadt and who's getting gunned down in the streets. So yeah, today is going to be Mondstadt day. I'll do Liyue either tomorrow or the day after. I'll have it out. And when all 4 nations are done, I'll have a condensed version with all the cartels in one video. So with that in mind, self-explanatory, let us begin. So first up we have Albedo. Now Albedo, I think, would be a really good dealer actually, yeah. Because he's very quiet without being shy. And knowing when to speak and when not to speak in a business like dealing Naku weed is such an important trait to have. Wait a second, what if he's cooking in Dragonspine? Yeah, okay, because he's the alchemist, right? An alchemist is the closest job to being a cook and working in a laboratory. And he'd be a good dealer and cook all in one package? Wait, I wasn't expecting to get our Heisenberg of Mondstadt right off the bat, but yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Actually, where's Sucrose? Where's our Jesse? So, Sucrose, I don't think would be a good dealer. You know what? I'm gonna change this full-time dealer to full-time in the game. Yeah, because as a dealer, Sucrose is too timid. Yes, she's quiet like Albedo, but she's shy. And when the clients see Sucrose coming up with some Naku weed to sell, and she's shaking constantly, yeah, it's not a good sign of mutual trust. In that environment, nah. But Sucrose in a lab would be kind of perfect. Maybe she's gotten up to like 98% purity of the Naku weed, and she's trying to get to that 100. Because I think Albedo's at that 100%, and he's teaching Sucrose in the ways, and she'll be his successor after a while. But yeah, she'd work with Timaeus in the Dragonspine lab, and she'd be different from Albedo, because Albedo could sell as well, but Sucrose, we just gonna leave her in the lab. I think that's the safer approach. Amber, yeah, we got our first good noodle, 100% is turning themselves in. Because I don't even know how Amber would even sell to begin with. Like wait, maybe she got some Naku weed from Kaya. Yeah, and Kaya told her it's prescription medication and to just sell it at the Mondstadt farmer's market. But Amber's not dumb, so I think after a while she'd find out what she really did and she would turn herself in. Yeah, she's too pure for this industry. Actually, wait, I want to do Kaya because I think Kaya's gonna be the kingpin of Mondstadt. Yeah, he just gives off such sleek, mysterious. He probably is already a Naku weed dealer on the side. We just don't know. So he has that cunning where I think he's probably the management guy. Like he's the one who designates the jobs for everybody in his cartel to do. Yeah. Okay, wait, who would work for Kaya? I think Lisa without a doubt would. Ooh, wait, what if she has like her library? And it's actually a secret Naku weed house. Wait, would that work? I think that would kind of work actually, yeah. So she is the librarian in the day, and she can probably sell pretty well too, because she's persuasive. And I feel like men specifically would probably be pretty inclined to buy from her. She would be like, the first gram is free. Yeah, and I think Kai would probably trust her because they're both in the same like day job, if you will. But not Lisa would be, I think, a side hustler though, yeah, because she has 2 jobs. Meanwhile, as Kaya, yeah, he's the cavalry captain. But I feel like he would put more time into the cartel. But Lisa would be the side hustler, yeah. Barbara, oh, no. So maybe one day she'll sell just to get a bit of extra cash or something. But then the following day, she goes to work at the church and she just goes to the statue of Barbados and just breaks down. She'd start crying, "Barbados, forgive me for I have sinned." Yes, okay, wait, she would actually do that. So yeah, she would turn herself in after that because she wouldn't want to dishonor her sister's name either. So she would stop it before it gets out of hand. I think both Amber and just Barbara would have short sentences, but they would still turn themselves in. Yeah. Actually, I want to do Venti now. Wait, would Venti be a good dealer? I think he would, yes. And debatably, maybe he's Kaya's rival because they're kind of opposites. Venti's a lot more outgoing, enthusiastic, and he could sell like really well, I think. Yes, debatably it's a bad thing that he's so outgoing at times, but I think he'll know when to get into work mode. So I feel like one day though, maybe he has a job in like the outskirts of Mondstadt in Stonegate, and he's going thinking it's gonna be another quick job, but as he gets there, he noticed something feels a little off. His client that he's supposed to meet up with is gone. And then, as he's trying to make his escape really quick, he gets gunned down. Because I feel like maybe Kaya would set Venti up, because they're rivals in the Mondstadt cartel industry. So maybe Kaya's in cahoots with one of Li Yue's top dogs. Like Zhang Dong. We're not gonna do Zhang Dong yet. But nah, Venti gets gunned down by the Zhang Dong cartel, who was hired by Kaya. And it would be a mutually beneficial thing because maybe Li Yue is trying to expand a bit too, and getting rid of one of Mondstadt's top like dealers in general would be a huge plus for them. So yeah, Venti would be a good seller, but eventually bang bang in the streets. So next up we have Benny. Ooh, he's a tricky one. I feel like he would probably get coerced into doing this. Like maybe similar to Amber, he thinks he's helping people out. But one day, maybe he'll have a transaction to make in, let's say, Windrise, because it's not that far from the main city, and he would be on his way there, and Kaya's setting him up to get killed. Okay. So here's the thing though. On his way, he would get lost. Somehow, he would end up in maybe Stonegate or something. Okay, wait. What if he finds Venti's dead body in Stonegate? And then he just starts freaking out, but the Zhang Dong cartel, they find Benny, but before they can off him, the Millilith come in. Yeah, okay. And Zhang Dong and co make their escape, but Benny's still at the scene of the crime, and he gets arrested because they think he's the one who killed Venti. Yeah, okay. He would get caught with the Naku weed and would also get pinned on killing Venti because somehow Benny always avoids death, but I don't think he's lucky enough to avoid the Millilith or Knights of Favonius, whichever one takes him in. I just realized Chongyun is in the wrong nation. Go back to your boys, bro. So next up we have D-Luke. Ooh, this is an interesting one. What if he goes undercover and is trying to bring Venti in to justice? Yeah, so he becomes a dealer himself to get close to Venti. But before D-Luke can put that final arrest warrant in Venti's face, Venti dies. So D-Luke's kind of at a bit of a conundrum here because he also has a very high moral compass. He's like Batman. And you remember that one episode or movie, I don't remember which one it was, but Batman killed the Joker and everyone was really happy. But Batman, when it was all done, he turned himself in because he still committed a crime. And I don't think he would just be able to tell, oh, it must have been Kaya who did it. So I think with his mission kind of failed. Debatably, you could say he would go after Kaya, but I think before that, he would do the time. Yeah, maybe after he gets out and pays his bail, because he's a rich man, he'd go after Kaya, but for now, we're gonna put him in turn themselves in. Yeah, I think that's how D-Luke would approach it, for sure. Next, we have Diona. Ooh, she's a tricky one. What if the Cat's Tail becomes half the alcoholic establishment that it is, but it also has a secret side with a secret menu of Naku weed. Yeah, okay. And Diona would be able to take orders from clients who ask for specific things, like they use code words. And Diona has to decipher what specific sort of Naku weed they want. And weirdly enough, I think Diona would be okay with this because I think she'd rather sell people Naku weed than sell them alcohol. They're both equally horrible for you. Debatably, Naku weed is probably worse depending on what it's laced with. Yeah, and she would also work for Kaya. Like the cat's tail would be an infrastructure that just makes different substance for Kaya. And I think Albedo probably works for him too. Yeah, he's like the Gus Fring of this world, to be honest. Next up we got Fischl. Ooh, she's a really weird one. I think she'd probably get gunned down though. Yeah, either she works for Kaya and he sees her as a loose end because she talks too much, or she would just be a lone seller and one of her clients would off her. And if you act all weird during a transaction, you might stress out who you're selling the Naku weed to. And maybe they'll pull out the 9mm and it would be an unfortunate end. But yeah, maybe Oz would escape, and debatably the reason why she survived as long as she did is because Oz is the persuasion bird, the translator. But I don't think he could keep her alive forever. No. Jean? Ooh, this is a weird one. I think this is what would happen. So, she's really good friends with Lisa, right? I think Lisa might give Jean some product to sell under the masquerade that it's healthy for people. Like it's prescription medication, like I mentioned with Amber, and she would sell it, right? But I think once she catches on to what she's really selling, she would also turn herself in. But there's a little bit of a twist with this one. I think she would turn herself in and she wouldn't report Lisa because they're really tight, but she would urge Lisa to also turn herself in for what she's doing. But the reason why Lisa originally gave Jean the Naku weed to sell was because Kaya told her to. And I think Kaya maybe wanted to get Jean out of the picture because she's basically the prime minister of the law, if that makes any sense. So maybe he would know that Jean would feel guilty and turn herself in. Yeah, and she would have no way of tying the connection back to Kaya. Dude, there's layers to this. But yeah, she would turn herself in. Lisa would feel really bad. It would just be a whole thing. Mika. Ooh, I think Mika's gonna be kind of similar to Sucrose, but not in the lab. He would be the man who directly gets the herbs. Like he would be out in the wild because he knows the land and he'd know where to get the specific good, pure Naku weed in the wild. And he probably works as somewhat of a informant of where the good stuff is for Kaya. Yeah, okay. So yeah, he would also be full-time in the game, similar to Sucrose. They wouldn't be dealers because I don't think he would be a good dealer because he's also timid and he would stress out the client base. Yeah, he would stick to what he's good at is what I think. Yeah, but he'd be full-time. Kali. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Ooh. Okay, this is where I think the two heads, the Heisenberg and the Gus Fring, or just the Kingpin, they would have some beef here. I think Kaya might try to influence Klee to sell because she's a child, and nobody suspects a cute little toddler like Klee to be selling. But Albedo, as her big bro, I think is gonna urge Kaya to just not do that because he doesn't want his little sis to go down a bad path. So I think this is what their negotiation is gonna be. I think Albedo will convince Kaya to let Klee work in the lab with him because I think he'd rather have Klee in a safe environment opposed to her out in the wild dealing with people and Naku weed. And yes, debatably, Klee would just burn down the whole lab, but I think Albedo's such a good teacher that even someone with an explosive personality like Klee could probably get into it. And this is the safest bet to make sure his little sister's safe. So we're gonna put her in side hustle. Yeah. Mona, ooh, I think she would actually be a good dealer because when you're at rock bottom, you can only go up. And Mona, I think, would know how to adapt to the situation, in this case, the cartel industry. Yeah. So you can debatably say that her personality might not be the best for selling, but she can adjust herself, I think. And she would work under Kaya as one of his top dealers. And what if her scry glass lets her know which clients to avoid potential troubles with? Yeah, so she would tell Kaya, don't trust this specific client because he's gonna bring a little gang to potentially off you. So that would give Kaya the upper hand. Yeah, okay. I think Mona debatably would be Kaya's right hand. Who else do we have? No. Never mind. Mona's like a top dealer for Kaya. Okay, I think Rosaria is gonna be Kaya's right-hand woman. Because the thing is with these two, they don't fully trust each other. I don't think they would trust each other with their lives or anything, but they would have a mutual understanding of financial stability. So, Rosaria could be a good dealer. She could scout out potential locations where further transactions could happen. And I don't think she would ever want to get rid of Kaya because that would potentially make her the new leader of Mondstadt's cartel. And I don't think Rosaria wants to be a leader. As long as she has a financially comfortable life, I think she would be okay working for Kaya, and Kaya would never off her because of how useful she really is. So they would low-key be at each other's throats, but at the same time, they would never off each other. Yeah, it would be a really tricky relationship, but I think that's how it's gonna go. Noelle, 100% is turning herself in. Yeah, the second she finds out that she even touched some Naku weed, she's knocking on the knight's door. Take me in, I'm a criminal. Yeah, and luckily she definitely would not be locked up for long. Like a lot of good friends in prison with her. Yeah, it would just be a whole nice shtick. Next we got Eula. Ooh, I think Eula would be a little similar to D-Luke. Okay. What if the Lawrence clan is a subsidiary company that works for Kaya, and Eula, as the honorable woman who in the long run wants to restore her family's honor, I think would become a dealer just so in the future she could get enough proof to turn the Lawrence clan in. Yeah, I don't think she would ever full out go after Kaya though. I think once the entire Lawrence clan is behind bars, she would be probably pretty happy, and she herself as the Justice Lady would also turn herself in. And maybe she even had like a bit of a negotiation with Kaya that maybe the Lawrence clan was getting out of hand or something. So Kaya's like, you know what? I'll help you bring down your clan, but I'm gonna have to potentially get rid of you too. And then Eula's like, there's no need, for I shall turn myself in. Yes, okay. Razor's a bit of a tricky one to end this off on. So I think this is what's gonna happen. Maybe he's out and about in the wild in Wolvendom, and he comes across a special kind of wolf hook, or the purple berry. I kind of forget what it's called. And this specific kind of wolf hook contains a lot of potentially harmful substance. So Razor eats it like it's normal, right? Because he's probably used to eating those berries anyway. But then he gets a huge, like, burst of energy and goes a little crazy. And then he's like, I must have friends, try substance. So he brings a bunch of them back to the main gate of Mondstadt, and he just goes up to everyone. Lisa, teacher, would you like to try special wolf hook? And then Lisa's like, what do you got there, dear? And then Kaya recognizes it, and he's like, oh my god, where did you find this? I thought this kind of wolf hook went extinct. So yeah, I think Razor would definitely continue to consume this wolf hook, but I think Kaya would pay him and give him a place to live as long as he continues to bring the supply back to Mondstadt. Yeah, so he would be the supply getter in the wild who also consumes their own product. Okay, this would be really interesting, but at least he finally has a nice place to live. All right, guys, so that was the Naku weed dealer tier list, the Mondstadt edition. So let me know what you guys thought. Did you like this kind of format and storytelling almost? It's kind of weird. But yeah, I just watched Breaking Bad the other day, and I'm currently watching Better Call Saul again. But I hope you guys at least got a kick out of it. I know this is probably not gonna be for everybody. And obviously, guys, don't do Naku weed. Self-explanatory, just is bad. But with that in mind, guys, take care, and the Liyue version will be out in about 2 days. Thanks for watching. Please sub. Bye.